Hey, what's up you guys, Caboose XP, I'll bring you another Injustice 2 video, and today we're going to be doing is another installment of the Q&A series. For those of you who may be new to this series, basically what I do is I take your questions and answer them here about Injustice 2 or Spider-Man PS4. Now, if you'd like to get yourself on a future installment of this series, all you got to do is send in your question either in the comments of this video, on my Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook linked in the description box below, and make sure that you include Q&A in your message. That way I know you're looking to be a part of the series. Now, with that said, I've gathered some questions about Injustice 2, so let's just get right into them. Starting off with our first question of the day coming from Boss Elephant on YouTube, and they ask, Q&A. Do you think that just because a character is dead that they can't be in the game like Joker, Green Arrow, or Black Canary? Now this is a fantastic question because a lot of you guys bring this up to me when I say a character that I want to be in Injustice 2 and that character so happens to be dead in the comic book version of Injustice or in the continuity of the Injustice storyline. It does not matter. To answer your question, Boss Elephant, no, I don't think that just because a character is dead in the comic books that they can't show up in Injustice 2's roster. A character like Green Arrow is almost essential to the Injustice 2 roster. He's one of the main Justice League members, and with the TV show and everything, that character has skyrocketed into popularity. A character like Black Canary is extremely high in demand, and I think for sure she's going to be in the game if you take in the factor of how many people are asking for her and the fact that Ed Boon has been teasing her character on Twitter. So no way does a character being dead in the comic books mean anything of their chances of showing up in the game. For instance, in Injustice Gods Among Us, one character that's on that roster is Nightwing, and the character of Nightwing in the Injustice continuity dies long before the events of Injustice Gods Among Us, the game. So it doesn't matter if that character fits, if he's in high demand, or it just works for the balance of the game with the characters on the roster, they're going to add that character in regardless of what you think about continuity. Maybe that character's not going to show up in the storyline because that's where stuff takes in effect of continuity, but even then, if they wanted to throw the character in, all they got to do is say it's from a different Earth. And we're good. We're golden. Everything works in continuity perfectly. So no, a character being dead in the comic books doesn't mean anything to their chances of showing up in the game. Thank you for your question, Boss Elephant. You helped me rant and clear some air on some people who always bring this up when I say someone like Beast Boy is a character I want in Injustice 2, or so on and so forth. Now, our next question comes from YouTube, and this is from Caleb Tucker, and they ask, Q&A. So in your last Q&A vid, you talked about not knowing about how alternate skins would work in Injustice 2. How would you feel if they added a mechanic where your character would have the skin on and the gear buffs active, but the gear you most likely worked hard for not show? Now this is a great question because we really need someone at NetherRealm to clear the air on how alternate skins are going to work in Injustice 2. Alternate skins are such a fun part of these DC video games, seeing your favorite characters in some of these iconic costumes from these alternate storylines in comic books. So hopefully they're going to find a way to give us a definitive answer on it. But what you're giving here, the solution, does kind of work, but let me provide you with something that I think is what they're going to do come time for the release of Injustice 2. So I think there aren't going to be traditional alternate skins in Injustice 2 where you select a character or you can select a specific skin for that character. I think the gear is going to be the skins. However, obviously sometimes you're going to have gear that creates an alternate skin for your character and you want to keep that gear, but you're inevitably going to be getting gear that is better and works better as buffs for your characters. What I think the solution to this is you can fuse your old gear that makes your character look all badass into the new gear that has the better stats. This is something that's in a game that most of you might know about called Destiny. So for instance, you get this really great gun that works really well for you, but using it brings down your level immensely. Then you get this new gun that isn't as good, but brings your level up a lot. All you have to do is fuse the old gun into the new one, and the stats are carried up to increase your level. So maybe that's what they're going to do with the gear system in Injustice 2. I feel that's what would make it work the most. So hopefully I can answer your question there, Caleb. Thank you for sending it in, and hopefully we can get a definitive answer on alternate skins sometime soon for Injustice 2. Next up, we got a question also on YouTube from Ghost Rider 2138, and they ask, Q&A, what villain do you want to see from the Flash gallery besides Captain Cold? Also, keep up the good work on your videos. Thank you very much, Ghost Rider, for your question. Now, to answer it, well, the Flash's Rogues Gallery is great. There's a lot of villains in the Rogues Gallery, and so far, we've already got Gorilla Grodd confirmed in the roster, and we probably are going to be getting Captain Cold based on all the hints and the teasing through the trailers and from Ed Boon's Twitter. So one other villain that I can think of from the top of my head that would have a pretty unique moveset if they were to show up in Injustice 2 is Mirror Master. I think he could be cool. I think he could do some interesting things with the mirror world and everything like that. His super move could be incredibly badass. So that's one of the villains from the Flash Rogues Gallery that I would like to show up in Injustice 2. I don't want too many villains from the Rogues Gallery of the Flash because then it gets just a little overcrowded in the roster. But if we already got Gorilla Grodd and we're getting Captain Cold, Mirror Master is the only one I can think of that I would like to show up in Injustice 2. Now, the runner-up in questions that we got for this episode comes from Luke Bayless, or Baelish. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, dude. Correct me if I am in the comment section below. But they ask, Q&A, for Injustice 2, do you think the game might include Flash skins like Jay Garrick, Zoom, and Jesse Quick? Now, again, going back on the whole gear system and not knowing how the skins are going to work, I'm not sure. But let's just say the skins are going to work traditionally or even through the gear system. One way or another, I think we're definitely going to get a Jay Garrick look for the Flash character in Injustice 2, because it'd be such a missed opportunity if we don't. We didn't get it in the first Injustice Gods Among Us, and I really wish we did, so hopefully this time around they capitalize on that opportunity and we get a Jay Garrick skin for the Flash in Injustice 2. Now, as for Zoom or Jesse Quick would be a little tougher. I don't think that would work very well. Obviously, Jesse Quick being a female, the Flash, Barry Allen, being a male. So I don't know how that would work unless you can change the gender. That would be cool. And then Zoom. If it's the Zoom from the TV show, that would be badass. If it's the Zoom like you're talking Professor Zoom from the comic books, then yeah, the reverse Flash look would look awesome as well. So thank you for your question, Luke. Hopefully I could answer it in the best way that I could. But the last question of the day comes from Twitter, and this is from someone that some of you guys might know here on YouTube, and that is from my dude Salvage1009, and he asks, if there was going to be a Marvel character in Injustice 2, who would it be and why? Now, listen, I don't think there is even the slightest chance of a Marvel character to show up in Injustice 2. There just seems like too much chaos going around on the rights issues and everything, and how hard that would be for NetherRealm to even attempt to try and get the rights to any of the Marvel characters to show up in Injustice. But if there was one character, just one, and even in the scenario where there's the slightest chance that a Marvel character could show up in Injustice 2, the character I think that would work the most on the roster is Deadpool. Now, I know some of you guys may be upset in my answer in that, but this is something I've been saying since Injustice Gods Among Us. The only Marvel character that could possibly work in the slightest in Injustice 2 or in the Injustice roster in general is Deadpool. Because of the character, because of who he is, and the breaking the fourth wall and everything like that, that character is the only one I truly see fit in the Injustice roster. Yeah, a character like Spider-Man or Iron Man or the Hulk would be awesome. It just would make not nearly as much sense as a character like Deadpool showing up and breaking the fourth wall and being like, what the hell am I doing in the DC universe and everything like that. So thank you for your questions, Salvage, and thank you to everyone else for sending in your questions. Again, if you'd like to get your question on another episode of the Q&A series, all you got to do is leave it on my social media accounts linked in the description box below or in the comment section of this video. Just make sure you leave Q&A in your message. That way I know you're looking to be a part of the series. I'm Caboose XBL. You can make your way on screen to one of the other videos on this channel, or you can click my logo to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Please follow me on Instagram and Twitter and like me on Facebook. Those links are in the description. Drop a like if you enjoyed, leave a comment if you have an opinion, and subscribe if you're new. See you guys later.